Tape one inserted.
Ready to mix effect in the one.
NSYNC's back to studio.
Ready to roll. Come on, one.
Don't tell them come back.
And ready to take one.
Here we go.
One.
This week, illiteracy, help for those who can't read and write. And we take a look at JMU's Life Science Museum. More than a spectacle, an educational experience. This and more as we bring you our 14th season. From the Television Production Center on the campus of James Madison University, this is JMU Today.
Hello and thank you for joining us for another edition of JMU Today. My name is Amy Cushman.
And I'm Bert Morris. Well, Amy, our own doctor of, that is Dr. Shapiro, who is the Dean of the College of Letters and Sciences, has a new appointment, and we have a story about that coming up. It's a pretty exciting position, too.
Right, we've got an event coming up this Saturday to raise money for the homeless called the Great Hunger Cleanup. We're going to talk about that a little bit later.
That's a good cause. And recently, our broadcast fraternity, A.E. Rowe, took over a local radio station.
That's right, and they did a wonderful job. The James Madison University chapter of Alpha Epsilon Rho took over Harrisonburg's radio station, WQPO-FM, on Sunday. Students in A.E. Rowe, a National Honor Broadcast fraternity, ran all phases of the station from general manager to disc jockey. Q101 even allowed A.E. Rowe to sell ad time and to keep all profits earned. Local businesses contributed over $500 in funds for the fraternity. This was the first time that WQPO allowed students to take over and operate their station. Following months of planning, Rowe members rocked the clocks from 6 to 12 p.m. Due to this year's success, the second annual A.E. Rowe takeover is in the works for next year.
Well, Dr. Robert H. Shapiro, acting dean of the College of Letters and Sciences at JMU, has accepted a top academic position at the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis. Shapiro will serve as academic dean for the Academy's approximately 600 professors. Shapiro's appointment was announced this past Wednesday at the Academy. Shapiro served as head of the JMU Chemistry Department from 1980 through 1985. In 1984, he was named Dean of the College of Letters and Sciences, and Dr. Carl L. Harder, Associate Dean of JMU's College of Letters and Sciences, will become acting Dean of the college this summer.
James Madison University students will participate in the Great Hunger Cleanup on April 8th by cleaning up the Harrisonburg area and raising money for hunger. A telephone fund drive took place on February 27th and 28th in Godwin Hall, where students called local businesses to request pledges for each hour volunteers spend cleaning the community. The money raised will be equally divided between an international fund for world hunger, and local funds will be used to complete Mercy House, a homeless shelter in Harrisonburg. JMU is just one of 150 colleges and universities that will participate in the Great Hunger Cleanup. The JMU Center for Service Learning is coordinating the local project. Every day, thousands of Americans can't fill out a simple job application because they can't read. Field producer Amy Carter looks at the all-too-common problem of illiteracy.
Up to 27 million American adults can't read above the 4th grade level. It's a social handicap that keeps them in low-paying jobs and makes functioning in the everyday world of street signs, restaurant menus, and product labels a constant challenge. But illiteracy is also a personal handicap. Mary McMurray, who works with Literacy Volunteers of America, has been tutoring one man since July.
And he said, I have my little boy read to me, and I watch as he reads. And the other night, he was describing a reading session they'd had a few days before, and he said, there was a word I didn't know. And so I asked my little boy what it was, and he told me. I said, that's right. He said, I didn't let on that I didn't know. And I said, you mean you don't feel you can? He said, oh, no. He would think less of me.
Shame and low self-esteem are what mainly keep illiterate adults from getting help. Stupidity is not the problem. The truth is many illiterate people are very bright. They just didn't develop their reading skills. They may have had a learning disability or not enough family support for learning, or they may have needed some kind of special attention that they didn't get. James Orndorff coordinates adult education at the Massanutten Votech Center.
A kid was perhaps a behavior problem, or maybe didn't cause any problems. but he didn't learn. But went through all 4 sections of 4th grade in his elementary school, and none of the 4th grade teachers seemed to be able to reach him. None of them. So let's make him a 5th grader. Maybe he'll do better at the 5th grade level. So consequently, they get moved up and up and up. As long as they sit in the corner and don't cause any trouble, they get promoted.
But illiteracy is a handicap that can be corrected. The Massanutten Votech Center provides free classes and tutoring, and a nationwide campaign called Project Literacy US, or PLUS, works through public television stations to provide services and promote awareness. First Lady Barbara Bush, whose son has a learning disability, is bringing more attention than ever to literacy and the need for volunteers and funding. According to McMurray, within 1 year, most adult learners make progress and see the improvement in their lives.
And he said, you know, that's the thing I'm learning about reading, that when you can't read, you have to take what everybody says and believe it. And he said, all the stuff I've been reading with you, a lot of it's not what I've been told. And he said, I'm realizing that if you can read, you can begin to make decisions for yourself. And he said, I like that.
This is Amy Carter for JMU Today.
Well, Amy, we have a brand new honor society here at JMU. It's a pre-medical honor society, and we'll have a story about that coming up in just a bit.
Okay, and there's also a course being offered at JMU for emergency health care. We're going to take a look at that in a minute. Stay with us.
We could have called it return to remote control. We could have called it escape from remote control. We considered the new Leave It to Remote Control, and there was even talk of remote control to the Colbys. But at MTV, we don't believe in phony hype.
Announcing Remote Control, the next generation. It's fun, it's wacky, it's on weekdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. Remote Control, new shows, new fun, new weirdness.
Same old channel, MTV.
Sure, Tootie and Muldoon have gone down in history as crack crime fighters. But what about their Car 54 station mates? Where are they now? Officer Schnauzer retired from the force on a full pension. He now spends his days sleeping and his nights as a vampire bat. Mrs. Schnauzer was granted a divorce and moved to upstate New York, where she ran a girls' school for 8 years. Upon retirement, Officer Anderson discovered a long-hidden talent for rhyming. He gained minor celebrity going on game shows and reciting original poetry. Nick at Night, keeping you ahead, abreast, and afoot of the comings and goings of your Car 54 favorites.
There is now a chapter of Alpha Epsilon Delta at JMU. Alpha Epsilon Delta is the nation's only pre-medical honor society. On March 18th, 24 charter members were initiated and installed at a special chapter ceremony. To be eligible for this honor society, students must have a minimum grade point average of 3.0 on a 4.0 scale and have completed 1.5 years of pre-medical studies. The JMU Alpha Epsilon Delta chapter is one of 5 in Virginia.
If you've ever wondered what you would or should do in a medical emergency, there is a little-known course offered at JMU that provides the answer. JMU field producer Joey Lewis gives us a closer look at emergency health care. Dummies.
The students are taught by CPR dummies, of course. Cardiopulmonary resuscitation training is just one of the many life-saving techniques students are exposed to in JMU's emergency health care course.
First thing they do.
Professor of Health Science, Dr. Richard Travis, says that the course is designed to teach students proper treatment procedures in all types of medical emergencies.
We realize that this course is not just CPR. It's a comprehensive environmental health care health course as far as emergency care. And we start off with looking at bleeding, bandaging, wounds, shock, traumatic shock when you're injured, electrical shock, anaphylactic shock when a bee stings you or you're allergic to food. We get into burns and something called hypothermia, where you get too cold and die of exposure, frostbite. We also look at diabetic coma and insulin shock, snake bite. So it's a comprehensive transportation. How do you move somebody? And CPR is just one segment of that.
Students enrolled in this course have different reasons for wanting certification in CPR.
I worked at a daycare center this past summer, and within 3 weeks of each other, 2 children almost choked at lunchtime, and I really wasn't sure what to do, so I wanted to take this course to know the proper procedures.
If something happened like that to me, I would want somebody to know how to do CPR, so.
And Dr. Travis adds that what we think are common everyday pains may in fact indicate a serious medical condition that should not be taken lightly.
All of us have little stabbing pains occasionally. That's not a heart attack. But you're nauseated, you're sweat, squeezing feeling, you feel anxious, and it lasts longer than 2 minutes, and we say, get in, call 911, take the ride, and have it checked out.
In addition to the course at JMU, the Valley Wellness Center in Harrisonburg provides instruction in CPR and life-saving on a community level. The American Heart Association has designated the Wellness Center as a CPR certifying agency for Rockingham County. In recent years, the public has become more aware of health risks in general, and now people are taking risks to prevent them.
And it's sort of exciting because the last 10 years, the rate of heart disease has gone down. It's still number one in people over 35, but its rate has gone down because people are changing lifestyles.
Students who complete this emergency health care course earn much more than certification and credit. They take with them the knowledge that what they have learned may someday be the difference between life and death. And where something so precious as a human life is concerned, this may be one course none of us can do without. For JMU Today, I'm Joey Lewis.
Well, the JMU Symphony Orchestra is getting all set for the big concert coming up this month. We'll be talking about that in just a bit.
We're also going to take a look at the wonders of nature right here at JMU, the Life Science Museum.
Right. And coming up, we have Tracy Jones with sports, so stick tight.
This is your invitation to a death-defying event. A feat so difficult, the king of daredevils, Evel Knievel, could not complete. A jump so dangerous, it left him unconscious for more than 30 days. Enter his son, Robbie, a motorcycle, a ramp, the fountains of Caesar's palace, and a purpose. Avenge his father's crash, and you've got a death-defying pay-per-view cable TV extravaganza. Daredevil Gary Wells failed. Evel Knievel failed. It's Robbie Knievel's shot at doing what no one has done before.
Caesar's is the longest jump I'll ever try, and hopefully do it no hands like I do all my jumps. Look, Dad, no hands.
Friday, April 14th, live, only on pay-per-view cable TV.
Hi, I'm Evel Knievel. Witness Robbie's jump here on Top Event. Wish me luck.
Welcome to Navy News This Week. I'm Petty Officer Johnny Gaines.
Want to be more informed on the latest happenings of the United States Navy? Then tune into Navy News This Week. From home and abroad, on land and by sea, get the latest news on our armed forces from around the world with Navy News This Week.
Shipboard sailors recognize these gray cylinders as life rafts that are designed to save their life if need be.
Tune into Navy News Thursday at 7 p.m. and Friday at 5 p.m. on Channel 8 Fairfax.
Relax, kid. I've been through meetings like this a million times. Just follow my lead. Go with the flow, you know? Stand up to them. There's nothing to be afraid of. Just roll with the punches.
Mr. Hatchett, we'll see you now.
From job stress to joint ventures, there's a better way to get consumer and business information. NBC comes to cable with CNBC. All you need to get through your business day, 24 hours a day.
The JMU Symphony Orchestra has been practicing hard lately in preparation for their upcoming concert in April. Under the direction of conductor Richard Castiglione, the orchestra relies on teamwork and dedication. Castiglione, in his first year directing here, believes JMU's orchestra is truly unique.
This is the only orchestra, to the best of my knowledge, and I've been told this, as I said, I'm a freshman, that is 100% student represented. We have 84 members. They're all students, and all of the instruments are there, all played by students at JMU. I would want the JMU Symphony to be the best orchestra in the state of Virginia. That's my ultimate goal.
Other plans for the future is a possible trip to Italy. The Symphony Orchestra's next concert will be held on April 11th at Wilson Hall.
JMU's Life Science Museum offers a unique look at nature and is within walking distance in what used to be Glick Hall. Field producer Kevin Schultz takes us there.
The JMU Life Science Museum, located on the corner of Cantrell and Main Street in Harrisonburg, is one of the many treasures offered to students and public in the area. Founded in 1984, the Life Science Museum has enhanced its collection to the point that it is now recognized as one of the best university life science museums on the East Coast. Biology professor Dr. James Grimm currently supervises the museum.
Yes, this museum is quite unique, I think, in the sense that we emphasize teaching rather than just having a place for storage. We are developing programs where students come in at all levels. We give them these programs, and they go through the museum learning various things that we suggest to them. Also, we keep things changing. They may visit the museum one semester, the next semester be something new for them, so they can expect it.
The museum offers a number of specimens, including butterflies, moths, birds, mammals, fish, and reptiles. Although the museum is open to anyone, many of the tours are given to elementary-level children through the JMU Young Children's Program.
And I saw that snake, and I saw a little snake, and I saw some butterflies, some dinosaur bones like I just see right over there, some eggs, ostrich eggs. I liked some of the birds that had feathers that were black, and I like the scope.
Along with Dr. Grimm, the museum is operated by 8 JMU students that are either taking the museum techniques class or just interested in life science museology. The actual museum is divided into 4 rooms. An introduction video was shown to the tour in the first room, containing fish and a vast seashell collection. The entomology room contains over 3,000 specimens of butterflies representing 52 countries. The bird and mammal room displays the animals in natural wildlife settings. And finally, the live snake and reptile room brings the tour to an exciting close. In the 5 years that the museum has been open, over 5,000 visitors have been registered. Dr. Grimm explains often it is the same people coming back because there's always something you haven't noticed before.
There's a lot of new things, and every time I walk in this museum, I do observe something new, not only with the butterflies and moths, but the shells, the seashells, the birds, the mammals, and so forth. It's exciting, yeah.
For JMU Today, I'm Kevin Schultz.
One of the aspects that makes this museum truly unique, like I said, is that, just like the director said, every time you go back there, there's a new species of insects or animals, and every time you go back, there's something new and exciting to see.
Right, it's a place you wouldn't want to go to just once because they keep it interesting by changing what they have there. We have a look at sports coming up with Tracy and the baseball team, how well they're doing.
Won 4 out of 5 games this week. They're doing wonderful.
Right now, it's time for Yvonne Elliott and Active Learning.
Join Finance Professor Dr. Carl Weaver to discuss the Fin game here at JMU. The Fin game is a business simulation game that produces an undefined product on a quarterly cycle. Each quarter is a decision cycle, and the students must input a series of planned decisions concerning production, finance, and dividends. As a result of those decisions, the students receive a new set of financial statements to plan for the future. This cycle continues for a total of 8 to 10 quarters. Dr. Weaver feels the students benefit from the Fin game in many ways. Watch and see.
I think the students get a number of things. The first thing they really get is the dynamics of business. That is, what I mean here is they'll see how the decisions made at one point in time will affect that business, not only in the immediate future, but there'll be a ripple effect. Secondly, it gives them a tremendous amount of practice in using financial statements. I think it is a tremendous learning device for the student. It gives a touch of realism to the course, and they can take a lot of the things that they're studying in finance, and we can relate it to the types of decisions that they have to make in the game. So it gives the coursework much more meaning to the students. I think it's a tremendous teaching tool.
The Fin game enables the students to make their own decisions and become actively involved in their schoolwork. Thanks for joining us, and now back to the studio.
Hello there, I'm Tracy Jones, and welcome to Sports Search. Yes, people, it's springtime, and here in the Berg, we're getting outside and enjoying all the weather and outside sports that go along with it. Golf is a popular sport in the Valley, and here in Harrisonburg, there are 2 golf courses on which to play. The JMU men's golf team just got finished competing in the Iron Duke Classic. That was held at Duke University in Durham, North Carolina. And I'm sure they wish they were playing at one of our local courses. They finished 20th out of the 23-team field. Freshman Kevin South led the Dukes as he fired a 77, 78, 76, 231 total. Fellow freshman Jimmy Maskell and junior captain Roger Bandy were all under 240 for their three-day total. Now, playing golf requires a lot of time and patience. And unlike most sports, it's a game that rewards slow and consistent play. Junior captain Roger Bandy explains.
Golf takes a lot of time to play, whereas you can go out and play a basketball game in 2 hours. It takes, just to play 18 holes takes a minimum of 5 hours if you're in tournament competition.
The Dukes are coached by Tom Hurt, who is in his 10th year at the helm. We'll keep you up to date on the latest golf news. Well, the Diamond Dukes are coming off a successful week. They won 5 of 6 games, including going 2 for 3 in conference play. Senior right-hander Alvin Allen hurled a 5-hitter, and the Dukes scored 1 run in each of the last 3 innings to sweep a doubleheader from the University of Richmond. Senior second baseman Steve Schwartz continued his recent hot streak by collecting 3 hits and 5 at-bats during the Richmond game. Senior shortstop Matt Lasher and sophomore right fielder Kurt Johnson each had a pair of hits as well. JMU gymnast Erin Williams competed in the NCAA Southeast Regional Championships on Saturday, April 1st. Williams placed 24th overall in the all-around competition, and she's only the 3rd gymnast in JMU history to qualify for this regional meet. Great job. Women's lacrosse, as we've discussed in previous shows, is a sport that's gaining popularity. Sean Broderick gives us this report on the Chicks with Sticks.
Women's lacrosse has often been called the fastest sport that women play. The sport itself combines running with hand-eye coordination. Many people are not familiar with lacrosse and its rules, and James Madison is trying to change that by supporting varsity and junior varsity teams at the Division I level. In the past, JMU has been a spoiler team in that they have knocked off top-ranked teams and turned games that they were supposed to lose into upset victories. Sophomore midfield player Emily Guter offers this outlook on her team's role.
Hopefully we will become something more than just a spoiler. You know, we will become a name that when people are going to play JMU, they need to be nervous. I think right now people feel that way, you know, that they're unsure of what we're going to show up with, even though we have a losing record this year. I think that people are still realize that we do have a lot of individual talent out on the field, and it's just a matter of pulling together.
Pulling together is a key element of any team sport, and lacrosse is no exception. There are 12 positions in women's lacrosse, and they are unofficially divided into 3 zones, those being attack players, midfield players, and defense players. The attack players' main responsibility is to score goals. They are stationed around their opponent's goal, and since there are no marked boundaries in women's lacrosse, they may run around behind the goalie and actually set up plays. The midfielders are really transition players. They play both offense and defense and carry the ball from one end of the field to the other. And, of course, the defensive players do just what their name implies. They defend their goal. These players are usually orchestrated by the goalkeeper, who incidentally is the only player that wears any body protection at all. One of JMU's major losses this season is the graduation of their all-South Atlantic Conference goalkeeper, Joy Jones. Instead of just one player filling Jones's shoes, the Duke's defense has been forced to band together and share the burden. 10th-year head coach Dee McDonough is trying to rally her squad in the direction of postseason play. Guter cites respect as the backbone of the Duke's master plan.
I think I have a lot of respect for her, and I think she has a lot of respect for the players. And you always know that when you're out on the field and you mess up, she's gonna let you know that you messed up, but she's not gonna yell at you, and she's gonna tell you what you need to do the next time.
As for the future, well, the JMU women's lacrosse squad hopes to become a nationally respected team, with freshman Nora McGuire leading the team in scoring and fellow freshman Kelly Moran minding the nets. There is much optimism for the Duke's future, but it will be their McDonough-inspired attitude that will determine their limits.
We're not a team that ever gives up.
For JMU Today Sports, I'm Sean Broderick.
Thanks a lot, Tracy, for that report.
Sure.
Well, when I was a kid, I had a Slinky. You probably had one, too.
Slinky. We had Slinkies.
Of course, they know the song. They have Slinkies. We have a look now at the Slinky. That's great. Like I said, I had a Slinky when I was a kid, but I couldn't get it to go down the steps. It'd go to the first step, then stop.
I'm sorry, Bert. I don't know what
Then I got twine all wrapped around. I had to throw it away.
As a side note right now, our video operator, Angie Warden, had a little accident this past week. We'd like her to know that we're wishing her the best and that we're thinking about her.
All right. Well, we were looking at women's lacrosse. That's a rough sport, isn't it?
It is. Surprisingly, there are not very many injuries, speaking of injuries, in women's lacrosse, even though they don't wear any protection. They have to wear mouth guards, and that's about it.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. Have a nice week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.